Going out to the wood yard to process and work with firewood has always been something that has been relaxing and enjoyable for me to do, as it is, I'm sure, with many of you. But one of the things that hardly ever gets mentioned or talked about very much is that there are actually quite a few things to deal with as far as stress and anxiety in the wood yard. Now, you might be worried about where you're going to get your next wood from, your log, where you're going to source your material. You might be concerned with how much firewood you have on hand and have processed, and if it's going to be enough for the upcoming winter or enough for you to fulfill orders from your customers. There's always a lot of things going on when it comes to firewood that I think sometimes gets overlooked. And like I mentioned, going out to the wood yard is usually a release from the stress and the anxiety in the day-to-day normal life and the day-to-day grind. Coming out to the wood yard is a place to enjoy your time and relax. So one of the things that I've always found somewhat enjoyable and relaxing, that I know many of you are going to say, no way, that is not enjoyable or relaxing, and I don't want to do it at all, and that is stacking firewood. And yes, it is becoming more and more of a theme of, stacking is something that you necessarily don't need to do, and maybe you don't. But I think the one thing about stacking firewood is it gives you that sense of accomplishment, and it gives you something to do to just take your mind off of everything. The stress, the anxiety, all the stuff going on in your day-to-day life, and added on to that, the stuff that you have to deal with in the wood yard, like I mentioned, materials, supply, inventory. So if you're one of those people who may have been influenced into switching your process around, and now you're just sitting around looking at a big pile of wood, and you're feeling like there's a void in your life or something is missing, and you haven't been able to pinpoint what that is, chances are you may be missing stacking firewood. When I do it, I find myself, having that sense of accomplishment. I can stand back and look at my stack of firewood and be proud of what I accomplished, and it just gives me that time to focus on doing something and takes my mind off of everything else going on. So if you are one of those people, or perhaps you're not one of these people, maybe you don't even have a wood yard, but you've heard about how relaxing and enjoyable and I guess fun stacking firewood can be. Well, if you're one of those people, I have something for you. Ever since I started selling the Back 40 Mini Firewood, I have also had, as an accessory to go along with the firewood, a Mini Firewood Rack. These Mini Firewood Racks are the perfect opportunity for you to get back that sense of accomplishment in your wood yard. To go back to those days when you maybe were stacking firewood. Maybe you just want to, at the end of the day, have a little downtime, a little alone time to focus on a task with nothing else on your mind. Well, this Mini Firewood Rack is the perfect opportunity to do that. And now is the perfect time because I have added the option to order a Back 40 Mini Firewood Rack with the firewood included. That is correct. You can get now the rack and the wood, so you are all set to sit down and just have a little mini stacking session. And the best part about it is, when you're done, you don't have to wait to split more wood. You don't have to go out and do all that labor of finding more firewood. You can just empty the rack and start all over. And no two stacks will end up the same. That is the beauty of it. And if you want to go another step further and take it to another level, you can start taking wood off the bottom of the stack, putting it on the top, kind of like the Jenga tower. There is, of course, the option to use this mini firewood rack for other things besides just firewood. Now, the mini firewood rack has been very popular. People really enjoy having it sitting next to their tabletop fire pit with their mini firewood on display. And that's the other thing about this. You don't need to have a tabletop fire pit. You don't need to burn firewood. You can just set this mini firewood rack on your coffee table and it will be a conversation starter. So like I mentioned, if you get done working in the woodyard at the end of the day and you feel like something's missing, something just hasn't been completed, perhaps it's because you no longer are stacking firewood, or you just want to end your day sitting down with a nice, simple task to take your mind off everything, and then when you have your mini firewood rack all filled up with the mini firewood, you can just sit back and boy, that smile will come across your face, and the rest of your evening or the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your month will be made. So the Back 40 mini firewood rack is now available with the option to add in the firewood, the mini firewood, the Back 40 mini firewood, simply the best mini firewood. You can add that in to your purchase of the Back 40 mini firewood rack. It's available online right now. Head on over there, back40minifirewood.com. Link will also be down in the description. So yes, take back your day. Seize the day. Start doing some stacking once again. Just not those big, long cords and cords and cords of wood to stack. No, you can just sit down, enjoy a little time with Back 40 mini firewood, stacking it in the Back 40 mini firewood rack. Back 40 mini firewood rack. Beer not included. Oh, what the hell?